Hey everybody, it's Holly from Cape Cod Creatures, and I am here. I just decided to do a random video and maybe do a little random live chat as well. A couple of things I wanted to talk about. One, Chase from Two of Owls brought up a really good video the other day about tarot ethics, and I think I'm going to do like a good big formal video on that, but I wanted to kind of test the waters and see what people's experiences were as far as ethical and unethical tarot reads, and maybe your experiences, like what you think good and bad tarot ethics are. That's actually really, I love talking about ethics and philosophy and that kind of stuff. I'm a little bit of a nerd about like the right and wrong of reading tarot. And the right and wrong of dog business. Like I am all about the ethics of whatever business I'm currently involving myself in. So that's always really interesting. Ooh, somebody popped on. Who is it? Hi, Deshan. How are you? We're going to be focusing, just so you know, we're going to be focusing less on reading today, although I'm always happy to do readings. But I really wanted to talk about tarot ethics. And then I also wanted to talk about politics in tarot. And like how, like just kind of, I thought that might be kind of fun to kind of mix it up a little bit to actually have a direction for the conversation to go in. I'm not going to be spending too much time on chat today, everyone. So maybe you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to grab my bag of tarot. 1 second, I'll be right back. It's just right over here. Just gonna grab my purse full of my tarot stuff. Okay. So anyway, sorry, I left my bag of cards for anybody that did want to read. That's always stupid to forget your cards. But yeah, I thought like the whole subject like completely and totally interests me, and beyond just the obvious like scammy stuff. I know that I've heard of people running into it. I've never run into it before. Like we've all had yes, absolutely. Everything has ethics, and I could argue ethics till I'm blue in the eye. Love talking about right and wrong and approaching things from different angles. And I am that person that could argue both sides of like if you steal a loaf of bread to feed your family, is it wrong? Oh my God, I love that stuff. I just love it to death. But today specifically, we're talking about I would love to talk about less about, like I said, the readers where you walk in and it's like, you are cursed and you must give me $45 for 3 weeks in a row to remove the curse. Ooh. I would like to talk about what you do in it, like not necessarily like what would happen, like getting over your head in a reading, I think is probably one of the best, like the kind of the direction that I would like to go in, like what steps you as a reader should take to make sure that you are actually taking care of your client and seeing to their, what my old tarot teacher used to call their highest and best. So I thought that might be kind of a fun topic of conversation. And then again, I would love to talk about politics and tarot. I'm seeing it flying around a lot. A lot of the forums and stuff that I hang out on, people are talking like they're using tarot to predict political stuff. And I just would love to do a video on whether or not tarot should be separate from that, and whether or not tarot is an appropriate tool for talking about and processing and discussing politics. So this would be I'm going to make formal videos, but I just kind of wanted to kind of get, not that we're going into specific political views, everybody, because I know that that is super contentious. I'm talking about whether or not using tarot as a vehicle to discuss politics is an appropriate thing to do in the community. So I would love to I would love to figure out what everybody's views are as far as that's concerned. Deshan, what kind of compliance did you used to do? That's really interesting. For what kind of business, and whether or not, and what kind of, like, was it like financial compliance within the company, or was it compliance for like industry standards? God, I love red tape. Like, it's so bad. Like, I hate when I have to fight against it, but if I'm the one enforcing it, I love me some red tape. It's it's so stupid, but I don't know. It's just kind of being like, these are the rules and I am in charge of them, which probably is a little unethical, ironically. But anyway, I'm just picking up my purse off the floor. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I just thought that might be an interesting way to approach tarot and modern society. First the ethics of being a good reader. So anyway, oh, nice. Yeah, federal pay. Payroll, that's a whole bunch of different red tape in and of itself. I'm just taking decks out of my bag right now, by the way. If you did want a reading, you can ask the question and I'm happy to do the reading for you. Okay, so first I'm going to say, I don't think that any of us here that do readings ever go, I don't think we originally go, unless you're a complete and total douchebag, I don't think we ever set about to read unethically in the first place. I think for the average tarot reader, for the people who are just like the yous and the me's and the people that just love to read and are doing it to try and genuinely come from to your wish is my command, Deshan, whatever you want. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, by the way. If I mispronounce it, I would hope you would correct me, and I hope you would correct me in all caps with some angry smiley faces while you're at it. Although really the angry smiley faces aren't really smiley emojis. That's the word I was looking for. But anyway, yeah. I don't think we ever go about we don't start coming from a place of okay, good, just checking. I just wanted to make sure, because I will if you don't tell me, I'm that guy. I am that guy, unfortunately. But yeah, I would hope that none of us ever set out to be unethical or to be deceptive in our tarot practice. But I think there are places where we trip up as readers, where perhaps that we aren't exactly 100% ethical in our readings. And I think the first place is when we set out to do a reading and we can't pick up anything on the cards and we just kind of fumble through it anyway. Yeah, giving bad news is that's another thing too. You can't just look at it and be like, you got the Death card and the Tower card and the Ten of Swords, your day's gonna be great. There's definitely a way to put a positive spin on that, but I think we have to be truthful about the way that we go ahead and these aren't great cards, but here's ways that we can work around them. I think it's also unethical to come from a place of being scary about those cards as well. You can be like, doom and gloom, next. So you definitely have to kind of give some good advice with how to deal with a reading like that. And that's hard to do. That takes practice. That takes reading for your friends. That takes practicing in front of a mirror. It takes asking professionals what they do when they come across that kind of a situation. It takes some study and it takes some time. And like I said, and as I was saying earlier, another thing that comes into play is when we're reading the cards. Sometimes, I don't know about you, but I have those days where I get absolutely nothing from a read, and I'll try and walk through it and not fake it to you can't fake it to make it. That's totally unethical. I'll be like, I'm not really picking up anything off of these. I don't think this applies to you in any way. And to just kind of fudge your way through a reading that is kind of bullshit. I think that is also unethical, but unfortunately we all find ourselves in those kinds of situations, and that's when the sitter, especially if you have somebody who's new to tarot, winds up having a bad taste in their mouth because you give them a completely inaccurate reading, or a reading that just doesn't resonate on any level, and you knew you did it, and to save face, you didn't come right out and just be like, look, I'm just not getting anything today, so if you wanted to come back another day or whatever, we can redo that reading. Another time I think that we could probably be a little more ethical is when we run across, because I talked about this in I Believe in Tarot a little bit, and these are totally like my own beliefs. Yeah, you absolutely should return the money, or you should tell them, like, depending on whether or not you work for someone, because that's another thing too. Sometimes your boss is like, nope, they took up your time, like you need to charge them for it. At that point, you offer them a reading on the house, even if that's like, even if it winds up coming out of your own pocket. I think that that should probably be something that you do. Um, Thankfully, the way most tarot reading works is you actually like rent the space and the time, because most tarot readers they're 1099, they're freelancers, so most of us are going to be at our leisure to give away like a reading when we think that, like, no, this is a bad reading, I know it's a bad reading, and please come back and I'm happy to do it again for you. But not all of us are in that boat. So there are solutions and compromises you could do and still be ethical about it. The other situation is when we find ourselves handling subject matter that is above and beyond our pay grade. Like, I'm talking like real down to earth, like real, like, horrible stuff. There's one situation I found myself in where somebody was talking about, "Hi, honey, how are you?" Or as he likes to hear me say, "Hello." There's one situation I found myself in. I was talking to another tarot reader, and they were talking about child molestation and about how they think this person was molested as a child, and all the cards seem to say that, and they think that's, and they're just like, yep, you know, we like, that's what we figured it out, because this person had some stuff going on with them. And like, I'm not exactly sure, but like the whole thing, I was just like, that is like, you have to be sure before you go ahead and say something like that. And I'm sorry, but as accurate and as amazing as we all think tarot is, like, tarot is not sure enough, and it is not accurate enough to even begin to suggest things like you've been molested as a child. That is a psychological thing. That is planting a potentially harmful idea. Like, a situation like that is completely unethical. Like, you can't just be like, I think you were molested as a child, what do you think? This is what the cards say. And like, there's nope. So that, like, that is above and beyond your pay grade. If somebody's having like some like serious psychological trauma and they're coming to you to work that out, you need to be like, look, I am happy to kind of guide you and help you as a supplement to actual psychological treatment. Here is a list of professionals, but also talk to your, like, get an appointment with a doctor, because we do not have PhDs, or, well, some of us might, I don't know. I know there's a couple of you on here that are PhDs and absolutely equipped to handle that, but most people, like, we bought a deck of cards in a bookstore for $20. Like, sorry, we're not equipped to handle that. And I think for us to kind of pretend like we are is completely unethical. And you know, a lot of us, we forget that, yeah, knowing your limit is really important. And I think that we tend to forget that when people come to see us, they make major life decisions based on what we're about, like what is about to come out of our mouths. And I just, because of the nature of tarot, like it like somewhat divinatory, like, I guess, but yep, it's so, like, if somebody comes to you saying, like, depending on what you tell me, I may or may not leave my husband tomorrow, or I'm going to quit this job and move to Alaska and become a professional ice fisherman and leave my family behind, or you know, like, just, you need to know what situations you can and cannot handle, and you cannot ethically fudge your way through those. Like, you need to just be like, cards on the table, no pun intended, I am unable to handle that kind of thing. And then another thing that I think we do sometimes, and I know that I'm definitely guilty of doing it, and I need to get better at recognizing when I do it, is injecting my own personal opinions about major subjects into a reading. like, I don't know, I know I've said it here before sometimes, but I am child free by choice. So when people come to me and they're just like, oh, I have a question about like children or pregnancy or whatever, I find myself sometimes I'll look at the cards and I'll be like, these all say don't get prickers. And then I'll have to be like, wait a minute. That is not at all what they say. That is what I want to say to them because of my personal opinion. And you need to learn to back yourself out of the cards and become a completely neutral observer. And you need to recognize when you can or cannot be a neutral observer, and you need to admit it. Oh, Jashan, I'm glad that you like it. Is there anything in particular that you want to talk about or add as far as ethics are concerned? I mean, like I said, I could talk about this stuff all day long. But yeah, like, again, you need to recognize when you're kind of inserting a little bit of your own belief systems or a little bit of your own opinions into your reading, and you need to, like, back that train up and be like, no, not at all. That is not what the cards say. You need to be very impartial about it. And if you are, you need to, and if it does happen, because it happens to everybody, you need to be like, but that's just like you have to be like, honestly, some of that was a little bit of my opinion. These are what the cards say, and in my opinion, this is what I would do with this. But you need to be very upfront about that kind of stuff. Okay. And I think that really, like, those are the biggest things that those are my biggest pet peeves as far as ethics and tarot are concerned, because when ethics are usually discussed where tarot happens, it's always like the big picture, like the just don't scam people and charge them fairly. Like, it's like, but no, that, like, ethics is so much more than that. It's doing the best you can for others, while also trying to run a successful business. So anyway, I just, like I said, I could talk about it all day long, but those particular bullet points are like the big ones for me, because I find that a lot of people don't necessarily adhere to those. They don't know their limits as far as, what about when readers wicked cute and honey, what is that? What about when the reader is wicked cute and the person receiving the reading wants to believe even more because of that? Can you clean that sentence up for me, dear? I love you very much, but that is some bad grammar. I guess I don't know. Like, I guess you could. That's a whole other discussion about whether or not the attractiveness of a reader, like the physical, which is like so subjective. Oh, the halo effect. Whether or not the attractiveness of. Okay, thank you, Jashan. The attractiveness of the reader influences the belief of the querent. That is a whole other video, and that is a very interesting video. But I don't know. Hi, Amy. How are you? We're talking tarot ethics tonight because I watched 2 of Owl's video, and while he touched on some awesome major points, I feel like there are a couple of little minor, why am I doing this? I don't know. There are a couple of like smaller and more subtle layers of ethics where tarot are concerned. But talk to text, yeah. But yeah, no, like, so I love, like I said, I love ethics. So we touched on knowing your limits as a reader as far as subject matter is concerned, especially psychological and physical trauma. We talked about recognizing when you're giving a bad reading or when the cards aren't saying anything to you and how to handle that. We're talking about I already forgot what we're talking about. We're talking about accidentally injecting your own opinion or belief system into a reading and seeing it in the cards and being able to recognize, like, nah, that's not what's going on. And then Baldy brought up the halo effect, but I feel like that's a completely different like that's not ethics so much as it is an interesting, it is a very interesting topic. Oh my God, that's horrible. Like that's, oh, womp womp. That is like the tarot version of what are you do? No, that's horrible. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, Deshan brought that up, when the reader holds back to be nice. So yes, Jessica, thank you for bringing that up again. Yep, about like putting the sugar, I call it the sugar coating, or the extra sugar, or the you know, like turning the teaspoon of sugar to help the medicine go down into a cup of sugar and then completely forgetting the medicine. You know, you can't, like, you need to be honest about what you see in the cards as well. I think there's a fine line with that though. Like you shouldn't be like doom, but you shouldn't. No, that's fine. Excellent. No, I'm glad you brought it back up because I only touched on it briefly. My phone is making so much goddamn noise. I don't know why. Yeah, you need to be diplomatic. I feel like you need to be honest about what you see in the cards. Be like, look, these aren't great cards. This is what they mean, and this is how I think they apply to your situation. But here's how we could potentially handle that. And that's how you draw more cards. Like you offer solutions where you can, you offer suggestions where you can. But again, you need to absolutely be honest. Yeah, no, I just, like I said, I could talk about this all the time. Like I think honesty is really like the biggest thing that the overarching theme of this is being honest as a reader, because there's just so much crud and crap, and like just it's such a competitive business. Like if you think about it, eventually if any of us decide that we're going to strike out and go out on our own and read, like we're all each other's competition. And then there's just even more competition on top of that, and then you just have some complete turd buckets, or my favorite term, I've been using it a lot more than I should. I'm trying to stop using it, is ass butts, because I've been watching a lot of Supernatural. But you have a lot of ass butts out there and they'll do anything to get the business, and they'll do anything to yep, absolutely, an ethical yep, an ethical reader will absolutely empower a client. You'll make them, well, but you'll do it in a way that won't give them, again, fine line. Don't give them false hope and empower them to go make stupid and ridiculous decisions with their life, but also like let them walk away. It's giving them the tools to handle a situation in a way that's going to serve for, like I said, my old tarot teacher used to say, for their highest and best. I feel like a good tarot reading gives a client food for thought when they walk away. It doesn't necessarily solve their problem, but it more like gives them different avenues. Like you could do something this way, you could do something this way, and you can handle your problem in one of these different ways. And here's how each one might turn out. And like the decision is in your hands. But yeah, it's so, I don't know. It's just it's so sticky where that kind of stuff is concerned. Also, another like area is admitting when you and or the sitter is uncomfortable, like recognizing when you or the sitter is uncomfortable with a question that has been posed. You're not going to give a good reading if a question comes up and you're just like, I'm just not comfortable with that subject matter, and I'm not confident in my ability to read for that. So you have to be very honest and upfront about what you are willing to read for. And then third-party readings. This is actually a really interesting one. I don't know why I'm waving an envelope around, because I've got paperwork in front of me. Third-party readings, reading for a third party, which means that somebody comes to you and they're just like, how does Mr. Steve feel about me, or what is Clarice going to do on Tuesday night. It's just like, I don't think that you should be reading for somebody who isn't the person sitting directly in front of you. And now I'm waving a bobby pin around. I need to have things to do with my hands. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, yeah, like you shouldn't be reading for anything except for the person sitting directly in front of you. And you need to figure out a good way to direct the energy back to that situation. But yeah, no, this is all good stuff. I'm having a lot of fun talking about it. So yeah. Anybody else? Oh, and by the way, if anybody is here and they did want a reading, I'm happy to do a reading for you, but I just thought it would be kind of fun to have kind of like a directed chat this time, because I'm going to be doing readings on Thursday night, maybe a little later than scheduled. It's starting to get kind of busy in the shop, so we're probably looking at like a 7 o'clock start time for that. But yeah, no, I thought it would be kind of fun to have a directed chat this time. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, because I'm not going to be hanging on too much longer. I'm probably going to do another 15-20 minutes. The other thing that I wanted to talk about and kind of test the waters, because I will do formal videos for both of these, was whether or not tarot is an appropriate vehicle to discuss politics, and whether or not it is appropriate to discuss politics within the community, because we are all so different as far as that's. And again, I will caveat this with we do not need to be airing our own personal political opinions in this chat. We will just be focusing on whether or not it is appropriate and ethical to involve politics, like mix politics and tarot. The only third party I'm reading with, like, I can't believe I'm reading out loud. It's weird. Yes, thank you. I love to read, like, when someone's having issues. Oh yeah, that's the kind of, yeah, okay, so that kind of a reading, Amy, yes, absolutely, for third party. Because that's more about you. Like, how can you support your son? That's not like, what the hell's wrong with my son? It's, how can I better support my son to help him with a problem he's having? Like, that is not necessarily third party. I think that is a little bit, like, because you do, like, we are people, we interact with other people, that can't be helped. But I think you're absolutely right as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I've been running into more and more. I've been running into people, especially in today's climate, like, reading more and more about, like, political stuff and posting that for all to see. And I have yet to decide. It just started raining here, you guys. Awesome. I have yet to decide whether or not it's appropriate to mix politics and tarot, and I just wanted to kind of see what everybody's opinion about that was. Because I have an idea for a video brewing. It's not really finalized yet, but I just kind of wanted to test those waters as far as that was concerned. And I was always brought up that you don't talk about, oh my God, I would love if politicians had their own magical people. That would be amazing. I really hope they do. Well, the sci-fi, like, cheesy Indiana Jones movie nerd in me, like, really wants there to be secret societies of magical people, like, chanting and just being ridiculous for politicians in general. I just think that would be amazing, because how do I get me into one of those secret societies? Oh my God, that would be so much fun. But I just mean as a community in general, whether or not it's appropriate to go. Yes, you did, Amy. You did miss the interview with Arwen, but it's posted. She's got it posted on her channel, and I decided that I wasn't going to post it on my, like, I don't think it's it's her interview, so it's posted on her channel. So I think that, you know, that's like, I would like to direct traffic there, and at some point I have to feel like I have to do like an update video, like this is what's been going on, and like here's a link to that. But it's right there, and it was so much fun. We didn't really talk that much about tarot, oddly enough. We wound up talking like, we just kind of like, everything went off to left field, which is like super, that's half the fun of everything. But just kind of like we just did now. But yeah, but like reading for political climate, I think is less, I think the pattern that I've been seeing in the community is less reading to kind of be like, well, I'm kind of scared, and how can I assuage my fears of you know, what's going on in the world today, and more about like an airing of opinions, using tarot as a cloak for it. I just stole Deshan's word, but using tarot as like kind of like an excuse to talk loudly about opinions. And I don't think that that's appropriate in the community at all. And like, some of the questions flying around are just ridiculous and like obviously meant to incite, which I think is really like, I think it's really a shame, honestly, because our community is so small to begin with. The tarot sphere, like, you know, there are a lot of people practicing tarot for many, many different reasons, and they incorporate it into many, many different belief systems. But when you think about it in the long run, out of 7.5 billion people on this planet, there aren't really that many of us practicing tarot. And because it is used in so many different belief systems, it's oh my God, the astrologists are ridiculous. Although I have to say, I'm really guilty of indulging in watching some of their videos. One in particular, because he's got a majestic beard, and it's just super fun to just like, it's one thing if you're using it as a vehicle for entertainment, and if they're partial about it, but impartial about it, but it's another, like, I don't know. But I've actually seen it a lot in the tarot, more on forums than in videos, than you know, I would say the YouTube community is really good about leaving that kind of stuff out of it. But I never thought, like, I never understood like why be so divisive in our community when it's so small already. That always just, that never made any sense to me. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of get everybody, like, and anybody watching this video after chat is over, please definitely post your thoughts and stuff down in the comment section. I want to hear what everybody kind of thinks about, as far as that kind of stuff, as far as ethics are concerned, as far as tarot and politics are concerned. Again, I'm like, I can't believe I have to say this so many times, but no personal political opinions, just whether or not you think it is appropriate and ethical to use tarot as a vehicle to discuss politics, or to use tarot as a vehicle to divine politics. So go ahead and post that in the thing below, because I've got like I said, I've got a video idea kind of cooking, but I haven't really finalized it yet, and we're testing the waters to see if we are grown up enough to handle that as a video topic of discussion. But yeah, no, anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about tonight. So anything anybody else wants to talk about, because really it's all about you guys and how awesome you all are. Anything in the little chitty chat box, because we got one of those. But yeah, no, back to the Arwen thing. That was awesome. It was such an awesome experience. She's such a cool lady. And I would love to do more interviews. Like, I could talk to her forever. And I would love to do more interviews in the tarot community. I think that's awesome. I would love, like, and I would love to have guests on my channel and stuff. I just have to figure out a way to handle it and do that correctly. Yeah, they really are serious and trusting of divination. I mean, you've got to be really, like, again, like, and again, that all comes back to ethics. You've got to be really careful about what you say and do with tarot, because people, like, they believe in it. They trust absolutely 100% what it is that's going to be coming out, like, and out of, like, that absolutely, oh my goodness, words. They 100% trust us to accurately to accurately interpret and read these cards. And if we're injecting personal opinion into it, if we're reading on really sticky subjects, it's really, I think it's unethical, 100%. And I don't think that contentious discussion has any place in the community as far as that's concerned. It's one thing for us to talk hotly about tarot. It's another thing for us to go out of our way to post readings that will incite. But anyway, I'm gonna turn the conversation over to you guys. Yeah, tarot, I'm finding that too. As my time dwindles down at the as my free time dwindles down at the shop as the season gets busy, I find that I'm not having time to participate in a meaningful way in like some of the reading exchange places, and I can't do it in a timely manner either. Excuse me. Yes, honey, my beliefs are politics. That is the worst / best pun I've heard all day. It's also the only pun I've heard all day, so congratulations. But yes, I don't know. I'm going to start limiting my time on the forums. I find a lot of it gets a little redundant, and I don't know. Some of the people there, it's just like, stop asking the same question 48 times. But that's a whole other discussion in and of itself. I'm actually coming up with a lot of ideas for tarot videos. Oh, that's another ethical thing too. It's like, what do you do when you get somebody who clearly is just looking to be enabled? Because we've been running into, there was a post on one of the Facebook groups, but this woman messaged a ton of readers the same thing, specifically about whether or not her and her boyfriend should get back together, fishing for a free reading, and whether or not it's ethical to indulge that person in a reading, and are you doing more harm than good that way? Like that's another thing you need to, like, it's easy to recognize when somebody is clearly coming in being like, what do the cards say? Tell me what I want to hear. And you have to decide whether or not it's like ethical to take that person as a sitter. Like, you can kind of, I don't know about you guys, but I can always kind of see it in their face when they've got like the crazy, like, what does my boyfriend think of me? Oh my God. Like, like that kind of a thing. And whether or not they're actually looking for advice, whether, is it ethical to take that sitter, or is it like, is it more ethical to kind of be like, I think you need to process this breakup and come back later for a reading about it. I'm happy to do it then, but like, you're not in a place emotionally to have this reading. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it was like crazy pants, and I was probably a little jokier and probably a little meaner than I should have been, but like, because like reading amongst friends, but like on a serious note, like, that girl, like, there are 1,000 ways that reading could have gone, like that situation could have gone wrong for that person. Whether it's for, again, is it for that person's highest and best to do that reading? Is it for your highest and best to do that reading? Like, how do you even begin to handle that? I just think it's such a shame that like we all take these tarot courses and there's no, like, like, you can take a bajillion tarot courses and very rarely do you run across like a section about how to read ethically and how to handle like clients like that. I don't think I would be too picky about clients. I think I probably, yeah. I think because I'm so used to being in retail, like you cannot pick your customers. They come to you, but So I think I'm already kind of like half trained to not be picky about my clients, but I think I would have to pick and choose the readings given on the situation, and like how to gently steer that person into getting a reading that is a little more appropriate for their situation, or asking a question that's a little more appropriate for their situation. Oh, and then the other thing too, as far as ethics are concerned, it's like, yeah, the money is nice, but when do you like recognize that you are reading excessively for a client? Like, when have they become too dependent on, like, you know, they're not living their life because they just keep coming to see you, and they're not making their own decisions? Like when are you overindulging somebody? Because, you know, it's nice to have those repeat clients, but is it ethical to take their money like 3-4 times a week? I would argue no. I would argue that, you know, like seeing a client once a month, okay, maybe, but seeing a client like 2-3 times a week, even once a week, I would argue that that is probably, it's unethical to continue to let your client come to see you that often. And again, how to handle that, I would love to, I don't know that I'm qualified, but I would actually love to teach a course on how to handle that kind of stuff. Not that I've ever handled it personally yet, but once I have enough experience reading, I think I would love to, like, I would love to go professional. One, I would love to go professional with my tarot reading. And two, I would love to have enough experience to be able to teach a course that handles like these kind of down to earth things. But anyway, I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna turn it over now because we talked about some kind of heavy stuff. So if anybody wants a reading, please absolutely post it in there. Otherwise, I'm going to pull some oracle cards for us. I think that might be fun. What did I bring? I actually brought home like a ton of my tarot and oracle the other day. I was just like, this shelf was piled high and it was bowing, and then the shelf below it was piled high and bowing. You can't see it now, but I cleaned it way off. Brought a ton of stuff home, and then I'm going to start rotating in and out. And I found some like some review videos that I have to do and what have you. Although I don't know that I'm going to be doing too many review videos, with the exception of Kickstarter decks from now on. Because there's plenty of reviews out there for like the Llewellyn Press and what have you. But anyway, who wants a reading? Who wants an oracle card pulled? What do I have for oracle? Oh, you know what I did bring that's really fun? I brought my Amethyst Oracle. I love this little deck, and I love its sister deck, the Idiosynchra deck. I brought my Inner Star. What else do I have with me tonight that isn't tarot? I've got my Spirit Cat deck. I've got my Extraordinary Oracle. And then, I've got the Flowers of the Night Oracle back here, and I do have the Hokusai. I like to use that one, not like as an oracle. It's the same thing. It's a majors only. So for like a big overreaching theme, that one's kind of fun. And I've got, oh, you know what I do have too? And the more I use it, I know I gave it like I gave it a stinky poo-poo review, but the more I use it, I do love this deck so much. As far as like, it reads so well, which is why it's such a shame I have such a love-hate with it. Universal Mind, I have that deck with me tonight as well. Amy, what would you like to know? What would you like to read about? What would you like me to pull a card for you for? And from what deck? I just listed like 1,000. Gotta narrow it down for me, Ladyface. Gotta narrow it down for me. By the way, missing you on YouTube. So sad. I know. I'm gonna guilt you about it. I get why you're not on it as much as you used to be, but still, I'm just a little sad. That's fine. Just laying on my Roman Catholic mother guilt. She taught me well. Just gonna, it's fine. I'm just gonna miss you. Just gonna not have you on there, I guess. It's fine. But yeah, what would you like to read about? Would you like to read about stand-up paddleboards? You should totally get one, by the way. My friend Heidi has a stand-up paddleboard, and she loves it. And she has like such amazing adventures on that board, and I'm super jealous because I think I'm too much of a fat kid to read, to get a stand-up paddleboard, but we're working on it. Not very. Pull a deck at random. Let's see. I think we will do, you know what, we'll do Amethyst Oracle, but no, you already have this one and you like this one. So why don't we do one that you don't have? We'll do Extraordinary Oracle. Oh my God, laying it on thick. Laying the guilt down thick. You know, it's like, that's fine. Just YouTube's just not as good without you here. But like, I get why you don't want to be on it anymore. That's fine. Like, that's fine. Like, my feelings aren't hurt or anything, but it's cool. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I totally get and understand. I just really like to give you a hard time. I give everybody a hard time. If I give you a hard time, by the way, that means that means like you've made it to the inner circle. Okay, so for you, we're going to do a mix of Extraordinary Oracle, which is this really cute little deck. I love it so much, by the way. It feels like watercolor paper, maybe like a little thicker. It's a total indie deck. And at first, like, I think it's kind of expensive for what it is, but considering like it's pretty much completely independently produced, and there's no shipping cost on the deck, which is really nice. Like, it makes it like totally worth it, and it's just so quirky and adorable. I did a review video for it too. It just sounds so good. I just love this deck so much. God, I love this deck. All right. And then we'll also pull a Rebel deck card for you. Your voice is not really annoying. Oh my goodness, stop it right now. No, you sound fine on video. We all hate how we sound on video. It's just the way it is. We all hate the way our voices sound because they don't sound the way they sound in our head. It's not just you. I just dropped like a bajillion cards. Oh my goodness. Oh no, I got a book in the mail today, honey. It is a book about tarot though. It's Modern Tarot or something. It was I'll do a book review for it. A book report. I'll do a book report. I'm pulling a Rebel deck for you too, by the way, Amy. Can't look when I pull your Rebel deck card. All right, here is your Rebel deck card. Oh, we've gotten this card before, and I don't remember if it was maybe you who got it, but I like that one for you, and I like that one for you. I don't remember if it was you who got it, but it was really funny when it came up. So I actually think, all things considered, I said, as in, it's not really annoying. Like, you think it's annoying, and really it's not. Like, it's not like you think it is, but it isn't in reality. Oh my goodness. Stop twisting my words. Just because you know how to use them properly doesn't mean that you're allowed to twist mine. Okay, so you received... Okay. And I do have to look them up because I don't know what that first one is supposed to. I think it's a terrarium. Some of that's the thing about Rebel deck is not Rebel deck, about Extraordinary Oracle. It does require like a little bit of study. So you did get terrarium, and you got, I'll put them up in a second. 25. Where are we? Prescription. Terrarium. Okay, this is really interesting read for you. You got, oh my goodness, the glare, the retail lights. Oh my, there we go. Okay, so terrarium is this bad Larry, and prescription is this bad Larry. So terrarium is all about it's a very nature-y card, and while usually this to me would be like bring a little of the outdoors inside, I think just because of the nature of the season, it's, get outside, and prescription is about self-care. Sometimes it can also be about taking a chill pill, but I would argue that that is sometimes self-care. Am I good at the guilt? Oh my God. No, Amy is good at the guilt too. She really is, isn't she? So I would argue that this is like, take the summer. I think this is just a recurring theme for you, is about not taking on too much, taking care of yourself, having a good time, and reconnecting to the stuff that's important to you. And also, I think that I love that there's a nature element there, and a stand-up paddleboard would totally enable you to be out in nature more. I'm just saying. Maybe your husband should buy you one because your cards say you deserve one. Also, you got this one. This is one of my favorites. It's put the fucking phone down. And it said, too much screen time is making you awkward and sad. Go talk to a live person. And I find that hilarious on the heels of you kind of, I find that like hilarious on the heels of you kind of minimalizing screen time. So damn it, Rebel Deck, every time it just kicks us right in the pants. So this just undid all the guilting I was doing. But yeah, the Rebel, so the Extraordinary Oracle is all about taking care of yourself and reconnecting to nature. So I think this is just reaffirming stuff you already know and stuff you've already kind of talked about. Right. Anybody else? Anybody else want a reading? Anybody? What's so true? There's a lag, so sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes it's just like I miss. It's true that you're good at guilting, or it's true that somebody should buy you a stand-up paddleboard. You can show him my video and be like, look, she said. I didn't say she said. That's an unethical use of tarot reading, by the way. It's to tell. It's just to use it to convince somebody's significant other to buy them stuff. Is it though? No, it is. It really is. But yeah, no, I mean, it's like, honestly, like if you need that board to like reconnect, then yeah, absolutely 100% by all means, like you should do what's good for you. I mean, we can't take it, like, as far as money's concerned, like we can't take it with us. We only go around, once, as far as this is. Okay. Oh, you do what you gotta, Ames. We'll see you later. I'll see you on the Instagrams. But yeah, we only go around this crazy planet, well, we go around it technically a lot, but like we only get one spin as far as our life is concerned. And honestly, at the end of the day, like a year from now, if you get a stand-up paddleboard, if you spend the money on a stand-up paddleboard today, a year from now, you're not going to be like, hey, remember that time that I spent that money on a stand-up paddleboard, and now I'm like, and now I'm in the poorhouse. Like that's not how it works. I think if you really like want and need that in your life, you can like throw some elbows and figure out a way to get it in there. Like it's not going to throw everything off. It's kind of how I approached my deck acquisition disorder. Like, I bought some tarot decks, but not in the poorhouse. So it all worked itself out. Like it'll work itself out. We'll figure it out. Chris hates when I say that. We'll figure it out. Did anybody else want a card, or am I just going to draw like a general one for all of us? Like just some. Oh, the Rebel Deck message. Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Rebel Deck is just a kick in the freaking pants as far as those are concerned. Like it just seems like every time I pull one, it's just like a big, like, no, here's what's really going on. Like it totally gives you the finger, and it calls you out on your bullshit. And I love that deck for it. I don't think the ladies who created it realize how Yeah, well, you know, you can't really take care of your kids if you're not taking care of yourself, Amy. Like, you cannot give from an empty vessel. And sometimes that vessel needs to be adrift on a pond on a paddleboard. That's really sure, Jessica. What's your question? What is your question, my dear? I am more than happy to read for you. Yeah, I call it, some people call it toadies or TAD, tarot acquisition disorder. I call it having a case of the dads. Yep, but Jessica was before you, Carice? Is that how you pronounce it? I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that I'm pronouncing it correctly. Yeah, I can read for that. Are you now more aware of people's BS, or are you just bitchier than usual? That is an interesting question. Probably a little column A, a little column B, but we'll see what the Oracle cards have to say. I'm gonna have to use Rebel Deck for that one. I'll do an Amethyst card, and I'll do Rebel Deck too, because that's like a perfect question for Rebel Deck. But I'll bet you the answer is a little column A, a little column B. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like the older we get, it's just the older we get, the less we care about, you know, calling people out on their ridiculousness. And also with life experience comes the ability to recognize when people are being silly. It's just kind of the way it is. The older I get, the more I notice it. I honestly wish I could kind of turn it off. Ignorance is bliss, man, I'm telling you. All right, so let's see. Just doing a shuffle. Okay, so I like this one for you from Amethyst Oracle. And then from the Rebel Deck, because we love Rebel Deck. Is what in you? Oh, Zosephine Victorium. That's my dog's official full name, by the way. Zoe, we call her. But oh my goodness. Yeah, I think as we get older, we just get more aware. I don't think we get bitchier, but I do think there is a less caring factor. Okay. So Rebel Deck for you. All right. It says, get the fuck out of your head and get into your heart. It misses you. So I think this is some situations you're probably overthinking as far as whether or not people are BSing. Because I think one of the things that people don't recognize is when they are spouting BS. I think we're all kind of guilty of it, but I think people don't recognize when they're being ridiculous. So I think you need to stop thinking that, I think this is kind of an indicator of they're not doing anything maliciously. They're just being stupid on their own. They're just kind of it's just kind of happening. They don't even know it's happening. And then this is get back in touch with your emotions, because a lot of people think emotionally. And usually when the BS happens, it happens because people are thinking with their hearts and not their heads, and they're not they're not coming from a logical standpoint. So to understand them a little bit better, I think it might be no, it's not you. Also is night. And nighttime, you got this one from Amethyst Oracle, sorry. So this is the card for night. And I think that, hi, Wayward Son, how are you? So I think the two of these, I don't think it's necessarily you being bitchy. I don't. I think it's just you're just like, again, with life experience comes the ability to notice things more. I think maybe you just should stop attributing it to people doing it on purpose. Like, people aren't doing it with malicious intent, they're just being ridiculous. And then this, I think, is like, maybe you need a little more rest or some time away from people to recharge, so that way you can better handle when they are being kind of silly. But again, I don't think this is, I think this is just kind of how to better handle when you notice it. I think, because I honestly, I think the older, like, these cards aren't like you're being bitchy. These cards are, here's how you handle what's happening. And it's because, and I think honestly, I heard, like, we already said the answer. The older you get, the more you notice when people are being ridiculous. It's just kind of the way it is. With experience comes knowledge. And the older we get, the more it is. Okay, so Carice, you wanted to know about how to handle the firing, the upcoming firing. Okay, so for that, I am going to pull, I'm not going to pull Rebel Deck because Rebel Deck is not professional. I'm going to pull an inner star oracle for you. So you have to fire somebody. It's always sad having to fire somebody. It's not fun. I used to like to do firings back when I was younger and angstier and loved me some Schadenfreude. Well, I still love Schadenfreude. Like, Schadenfreude is fun for me. So how to handle the firing. So I think I like this. Oh, you got two popped out for you. And then I'm going to do a Universal Mind card too. Because I love the way the deck reads. I just wish the deck was done differently. Oh my God, it's so, oh my God. How hot is it in Mississippi right now? It's like 1,000 bajillion degrees here today too, and we're on the coast, so it's nice. It's a humid heat, which is awful, and we just had we're gonna have thunderstorms tonight. Yeah, if he's just not wired for it, it's kind of like dating somebody and not when you're not feeling it, and then like kind of stringing them along. Like, maybe it's like, don't waste his time and yours. All right. So you got Activate Your Mind and Natural Cycles for Inner Star Oracle. And then Activate Your Mind, it's really hard to see on the card. I actually have to hold it at an angle. It's a woman, and she's like kind of asleep and dreaming or thinking about something, and she's reclining on what looks like clouds. And then Natural Cycles is a butterfly wing and mountains, and then I think that's a fish at the bottom. It's really hard to tell. But these cards are absolutely 100% gorgeous. Okay. So, and then for your Universal Oracle, you got Creators of the New Earth, which is, I do not like this card at all, but gonna work with it the best I can. And then you also got Layers. It's really hard to see. It's like a leaf in a hand, and it's like very like layery and dreamy. But these to me say that perhaps the way that you have planned to handle the firing, as it were, maybe there's a different way to kind of go about it. I don't know how you have planned, or if there's like an instruction manual for how to handle it. But I think this is kind of like, maybe think about how you're doing it, and kind of like allow the conversation that you have with this guy to go naturally. you know, and just explain to him, like I'm very sorry. It doesn't seem like it's a good fit and it's not working out. But we appreciate, we really appreciate your time. Just kind of, kind of be gentle about it. And then maybe there's a reason he's not grasping this job. This suggests that beyond, like, it's not necessarily beyond him, but something might be going on with him that you're not aware of, that's keeping him distracted from being able to handle the job the way that he should be performing. And then creators of the new earth. This suggests to me that the firing won't necessarily be horrible for him. He might even see it coming. He might even have a contingency plan for it. It's kind of like a fresh start. So it's going to be a fresh start in this position for the both of you. You're going to have to find and train somebody new. And he's going to have to find another job. It's just like life comes and goes in circles. So I think this is a chance for, maybe both of you to kind of figure out a different path as far as the position that is going to be vacated is concerned. I don't know. And I just think that this is just, like, if this is a job that was just filled, I think that's another, like, the natural cycles. You don't necessarily hit, the best candidate for the job right away. So I think that kind of speaks to that as well. Like, you're going to, like, maybe you'll go through a couple more of these situations and just, think out of the box as far as your hiring and firing practices are concerned. Especially where this guy, if he's trying and it's just not working out because it's just not a good fit, just kind of be nice about it. I really think that that's what it's saying, but I don't think that that's stuff that you didn't know already. So yeah, that's it for that one. And anybody else? Oh, southern weather. Yeah, that's the worst. It's I don't know how anybody could live like this year round. It's like it's so humid. I actually have not been fortunate or unfortunate enough to have full-time employees yet. So that I cannot, I don't even want to begin to know, like, what handling a full-time employee is even like. And honestly, I don't want an employee. I want a colleague, because I don't feel like I am a good boss. I feel like I'm not comfortable being in charge of somebody in the way a boss is in charge of somebody. I feel like I need more a colleague than I need an employee anyway. So that is actually something that I'm trying to come to terms with, because I cannot afford a colleague. I could possibly afford an employee, but grown-up business stuff is like the worst. It's literally the worst, and I don't like thinking about it or talking about it. My goodness, I'm starting to get a little hoarse. So does anybody else need a reading or want a reading? Or otherwise, I am going to pull an oracle card for us to conclude the evening, and then I'm going to go home and I'm going to have garlic bread, because I could live on garlic bread. Love garlic bread, so good. All right. So I'm going to pull an oracle card to get us through the week, or to get us through till Thursday, because I'm doing this again on Thursday. Super fun. I just really kind of felt like jumping on tonight. And thank you guys for participating in the chat for me. Wayward Sun, I love when you stop by. I absolutely 100% love when you stop by just to say hi. But yeah, no, it's it does take ethics. That's what we talked about tonight, Wayward. We discussed ethics and the ethics of reading, but more small scale stuff, rather than like, just don't tell somebody they're cursed and charge them $1,000. But like ethics when you actually have a sitting client and are a reader, and ways that we could be a little more ethical in our reading. So yeah, it was actually kind of fun. So let's see. So for our oracle card tonight, you guys, I'm going to pull from Inner Star, and I do love Amethyst, so I'm going to pull one for us from Amethyst as well. And I'm going to pull us a Rebel deck because, you know, I love my Rebel deck. I think we could all use a little Rebel deck realness in our lives sometimes. All right, let's see. That one for us. And Rebel deck. Oh, Amy, thank you. Have you been lurking this whole time? Oh my goodness. What happened to getting off the screen and having to do things as far as that's concerned? No Leroy Jenkins tonight. I love Leroy Jenkins. I actually spent, oh, thank you. Was it you that posted the Leroy Jenkins? I think it was. You posted the Leroy Jenkins link. I watched it like 1,000 times. And then I watched, that just took me down a YouTube Leroy Jenkins K-hole because it was just like there's fan films for Leroy Jenkins. And oh my God, I just love Leroy Jenkins. I love him. Gonna marry that man someday. Okay, Rebel deck, Jesus. Oh my God, I just got yelled at by Rebel deck. All right, so the Goddess Within is our oracle card from Inner Star, and it is it looks like flowers and smoke and some more flowers. It's really kind of hard to see all the detail in that card. She packed a lot in there. And then we got Solitude from Amethyst Oracle. And then we got Fucking Apologize. Just Do It. Seriously. From Rebel deck. So I don't know about you guys. I would have to think long and hard about what exactly it is that I need to apologize for. I'm sure there's something, but I think somebody needed that card. It like jumped out at me and was just like, bruh. But these two cards say to me like a little bit of self-care goes a long way. Again, like the Goddess Within and some solitude. You've got that cactus and a blooming flower. I think this is taking time to kind of rethink our practice as far as spiritual practice or self-care practice is concerned. And just, you know, kind of reconnecting as far as this is a poignant message for me because I've had a really hard time reconnecting since my hospital stay. But yeah, just kind of getting back into it, and kind of like in solitude comes some really great ideas, like shower thoughts and all that good stuff. So like, you know, maybe take some time to quiet your mind and reconnect with your spiritual and self-care practice. I think that this is a really good message for us, and this is a good, like, we can totally do this. This is a good 2-day homework assignment for us, because that's when we meet next is Thursday. So and then also Fucking Apologize. I don't know who it is. I don't know who this card is for, but whoever this is for, just do it, because Rebel deck might cut me in my sleep if you don't. It could even be for me, so I got to think about what I got to apologize for. I probably have to apologize to Chris for not telling him I was going to go live tonight, but it was kind of a last minute thing. Anyway, thank you guys so much for popping on and talking with me about all that stuff. And thank you in advance to anybody who decides to leave any of their ethics ideas below. I'm going to be making a formal video as far as it's concerned, probably sometime in the next couple of weeks for the few topics that we discussed. And I cannot wait to see what all the rest of you have to say. And thank you guys, and thank you Terrasphere for popping on tonight. Again, I cannot even thank you guys enough. I reached over 200 subscribers the other day, was it a week or two ago? I didn't even, like, this is so horrible. I didn't even check my subscriber count. So I have to just thank everybody so much. I am so grateful for the community that I have found here on YouTube and in the Tarot Sphere. What do you need to apologize for? I don't think you need to, like, oh my goodness. Like, Rebel Deck is so mean sometimes. Oh my goodness. I can't even, Rebel Deck is just so mean. But anyway, like, it is so mean sometimes. But yes, I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for just being awesome ladies. And I will see you next Thursday. I love saying that. Bye guys.